doing good. Dusty and Dice is doing good. So today we're going to take a look at where the machines wait. Okay. Hopefully y'all can see this well. Let's take a look at the back. Well, first I have to say, Monty Cook Games sent me a complimentary copy so that I can share with y'all, tell you what I think. I don't read every word of a book. I skim. That's how my brain works. I keep things better when I skim. If I read things thoroughly, I don't know why, it just leaks out of my brain. Anyway, so I skimmed most of this, and I'm gonna tell you what I think about it. It is called Where the Machines Wait, written by Bruce R. Cordell. It is 5e compatible, but it also has conversions on how to run it in the Cypher system. Essentially what it is I would call it like a short campaign. There's probably, I don't know, at least, or I would say probably right around 5 sessions, give or take, of material here. Depending upon size of your group and you know, kind of what they do during the game. But let's take a look at the back. A vast underground ruin filled with dangers and treasures unlike any seen before. They call it the Grave of the Machines, an underground mausoleum of the ancients, filled with the wondrous devices and strange magic. Those bold enough to venture into its depths and capable enough to return spin tales of sights and encounters so astonishing they could not possibly be boasts or mere fiction. And they say its riches are as vast and unfathomable as its depths. Man, can't read tonight. Venture into the Grave of the Machines if you dare. For adventure unlike any you'll find in typical ruins or dungeons. Who knows what you'll discover? Strange creatures, riches beyond measure, powerful artifacts, perhaps all of that. And perhaps terrors that have lain for aeons, dreaming of the day when they'll be awakened to again walk the surface of the world. Wow, I cannot read tonight. I'm sorry, guys. Where the Machines Wait is a mega adventure for 5e for characters of roughly 5th level. It can be played as a series of short ventures into the Grave of the Machines, easily placed between other adventures in your campaign. Its deeper plot line can be introduced at any time, or you can ignore it and just explore the ruin. Where the Machines Wait includes new creatures, new items, and a new playable species of mechanical construct-like characters, the Cirque. Numenera players can also delve into the Grave of the Machines, where the Machines Wait includes complete conversion notes for Numenera and the Cypher system. Okay? So, sorry I butchered that reading. So, like I said, it is... They call it a mega adventure. I would call it a short campaign. You have several sessions of material here. If you're playing 5e, this will introduce like science fantasy into your game. I dig it. So let's crack it open. This is kind of going to be like a first look video. I skimmed it, I wrote notes, and then I deleted my notes. So I guess we're kind of going to do this a little off the top. Anyway, it was written by Bruce R. Cordell, published by Monty Cook Games, of course. Table of contents on this book. Oh, by the way, it's softcover. Okay. In case, you know, that's a thing to you. So sections in this book, how to use this book. Part 1, the adventure. So then it's Welcome to the Machine, the Lost City, Peerless Wheel, Reservoir, Factory Floor, the Crochet. I'm probably going to pronounce that wrong this entire video. Just letting you know. Inside the Machine, wrapping up the adventure, and then you're into resources for the Grave of the Machines, which is new creatures, new items, and then the Numenera conversion guide. Okay? And that's all color-coded. Alright, so how to use this book. This kind of just opens up, kind of tells you that they say you don't absolutely need it, but if you really want to run this, you really should have Arcana of the Ancients. Arcana of the... Oh, man, I am butchering this video. Anyway, let's go Arcana. Arcana of the Ancients. Okay, that's another book by Monte Cook Games that introduces like ciphers and relics and that sort of thing into D&D 5e. Okay, you're gonna really need that book if you're gonna run this adventure. I mean, you can do it without it, but it's pretty much assuming that you have Arcana of the Ancients. Okay. But you know, what if I don't have Arcana of the Ancients? Then you know, you can swap out creatures and swap out items, and you can play it in Numenera. It gives you some common terms. The Ancients, you know, were like an advanced civilization, lived a long time ago, and they had high technology, and now they're not around. They were like, there was some Ancients like kind of caught up in a war, and that, you know, comes into play later on in the adventure. It does tell you. Oh, by the way, I should have said this up front. Spoiler alert! If you're gonna play this adventure, don't watch this video because I'm gonna be talking about stuff in the adventure. Okay, so don't spoil the adventure if you're gonna play it, or if DM's about to run it. Like, don't watch the video. Anyway, back to the video. Man, I am butchering this video. And so it gives you terms that you're going to need to know, and names of some people that are going to come up during the adventure. Give you a little bit of optional rules. Now onto the adventure. Okay. Welcome to the machine. You get a little background. Well, first, you know, they talk about who the Ancients are. The background, you know, how was this? So it's an underground ruin. Think of it like an underground complex. This underground complex that's a ruin, and it was made by this advanced civilization that lived a long time ago and is no longer around. Okay. And then this ruin, this underground ruin, has been discovered. So the background kind of talks about how it might have been discovered. And then so the ruin is called, has come to be called the Grave of the Machines. Okay. And so it kind of tells you a little bit about the Grave of the Machines. And then it gives you an overview of the areas within this complex, within this underground complex ruin. And it's a multiple level ruin. There's a cutaway map that I'm going to show you in just a minute. And so it gives you the levels, the Lost City, Peerless Wheel, Reservoir, Factory Floor, the Crochet, Dread Destroyer. What I would say is read all this and then skim the adventure, because this won't make too much sense to you until after you've skimmed the adventure. Then you can come back and read this page and be like, oh, okay, now I understand. You know, this little blurb, you know, you get one paragraph for like a whole level of the adventure. And you won't quite grasp it until after you've, you know, kind of skimmed that level, and then you're like, okay, now I understand what they're talking about. So you flip over to here. This is the map of the underground complex ruin. Okay, it's multiple levels, right? And each level is very different. Which I dig, because you're getting like a different feeling on each level, rather than like each level kind of feeling the same. You dig what I'm saying? You have the Lost City as the top level. You have the Reservoir as the next level, the Factory Floor, and then this bottom level. This bottom level is smaller, and the Crochet. Oh man, I should have figured out how to say that. Is like a vault that's in the middle of that or at the end of that last level. And then off to the side here, the Peerless Wheel is a rotating wheel that acts as an elevator for the levels. I'll get into that a little later. But right here we have getting the PCs involved. So now you have hooks to get your PCs involved in the adventure. The Hills of Crooked Sleep in Arcana of the Ancients, in that book, it has 3 adventures. One of them is the Hills of Crooked Sleep. So you could run Hills of Crooked Sleep, and then this could be a piggyback adventure of kind of that adventure trajectory. That said, they kind of want you. I mean, they put a little more effort into this this adventure hook with, oh my goodness, Theusa Kors. She's an artificer. Wait. Indeterminate gender. Okay. I'm just gonna say her. Okay. She she's an artificer. She has a secret agenda. She wants to use the machine that's at the very bottom level in the vault, and to do that she needs 3 really important items that you find throughout the floors. So for her to get to the Dread Destroyer at the end and do what she wants, she needs you to find those 3 items. Now, she's probably not going to tell you all her plans up front. Okay. Now, and then you can, because she's an artificer, she will buy some ciphers and relics off you if you salvage them and bring them to her. Anyway, you know, so they do give some different types of adventure hooks. Although the artificer one, I think, is the one they kind of really want you to do. Finding the grave of the machine. So, you know, where do you put this grave of the machines? Like where, like location wise? Is it beneath a town, out in the wilderness, portal to somewhere else? You know, where are the PCs going to find this thing? Okay, and then it has a wonderful random encounter table. Oh, who doesn't love random encounter tables? I know this guy right here loves random encounter tables. Okay, sorry, got a little turned up on that one. It does give you page numbers where you can find them in Arcana of the Ancients. So right off the bat, your random encounter table requires you to have Arcana of the Ancients. Oh man, I'm gonna go back and forth between Arcana and Arcana. Anyway, you're gonna need that book to even use your random encounter table, because it's like page 183. Well, it's not page 183 in this book. It's page 183 in Arcana of the Ancients. Okay, so if you're going to run this, you're going to really want Arcana of the Ancients. Oh, yeah. Over here on the sidebars, every time you see that symbol and then like a page number, it's talking about, you'll find this in Arcana of the Ancients. Okay? So, your adventurers go from the surface down into the complex, and the first place that they encounter is the Lost City, which is pretty cool. It's like a degraded, dilapidated, breaking down city, and they have to work their way through the rubble in the city streets, and you know, do some cool stuff. Now, there's a mechanic called salvaging, and so your characters can salvage. They can take pieces of machines out and gain a cipher, which is like a one-use item that's pretty powerful, but it's only one use, and it's like something high tech. So it's like your character came across this like mass of electronics and reaches in and pulls this part out of it, you know, salvages this part out of it, and you know, they may not know what it was originally intended for, but they know if like they hold this button down and they throw it, it blows up. You know what I mean? So it's cool. You can salvage and pick up these ciphers. So you work through this vault level, and I'm not gonna go over everything on each level, but it's pretty cool. You end up taking care of a gazer nest if you go that way. This is, I mean, it has keyed locations, but there's not like one way through this level. You can take different paths. I mean, you could be on this level for a while if your characters are going the wrong direction, but just hitting these interesting keyed points, or they could go straight in the right direction and without knowing it, and find the Peerless Wheel, which is, like I said, the elevator that's going to take them to the other levels. So anyway, they're going to work through these challenges, run into some NPCs that have lost a buddy of theirs. They don't know what has happened to them. That's going to come up later. And then as they work through these, and then they're going to find the Peerless Wheel. And then they're going to enter that. The Peerless Wheel is a free-floating disc that's the size of a city, and it rotates. And that's how they're going to get to the next level. You dig what I'm saying? That's so here's the Lost City. They get onto the Peerless Wheel. It rotates, and eventually they're going to be able to get onto the next the level after that. So after the Lost City is obviously the Peerless Wheel. I already said that. The Peerless Wheel is actually, I mean, yes, it is an elevator, but it's actually it's essentially a level in its own that you can explore as well. But it's rotating, so over time the ceiling becomes the wall, and then the floor, and then the wall, and then the ceiling again. So that's interesting. Like I said, each level has its own feel to it, and that's really cool. They don't all feel the same. So yeah, you're in this wheel that's turning, and things are rolling about, and you're gonna have to deal with that. The Peerless Wheel is also kind of run by this entity called Peerless, who he thinks of himself as one being, but he's kind of dispersed across multiple machines called instances of Peerless. Anyway, so you're going to be dealing with them. You might encounter Peerless, and who knows, you might fight him. He might give you a job. Depends how that encounter goes. And then you take the Peerless Wheel into the next level, which is called the Reservoir, which is really cool. It's a level that's like half under liquid, but the liquid is breathable. So characters that normally need air can breathe in this liquid. And so it's like an underwater and island adventure, which is pretty cool. Whole different feel. You're doing like water adventures now, and that's pretty cool. Of course, there's an NPC on this level as well, as called Origin, and Origin wants to extend her reach through the facility. Peerless is not happy about that, so those two are kind of at odds. Origin has her own underlings. They're called neonates. They are these snake things. Okay. So you're gonna be dealing with, oh no, that dude looks like he's not having a good day. So you're gonna be doing those kind of water adventures and dealing with neonates and encountering Origin, and you might fight, or she might give you a job. Right? Okay. Next level, the factory floor. And the factory floor is pretty interesting. Once again, whole different feel. And if you think of like a high-tech, futuristic like factory that's also weird, you have a lot of goodness there, but you throw in that you have a race called the Cirques, which have like split into different groups. They're kind of at odds with each other, and then there's these other beings called the Zev, which kind of are going around, and they're not too friendly. So you have weird high-tech factory goodness going on, and you also have like a little bit of intrigue and confrontation going on this level. So you're going to, and there's a factory defense system that you're also going to be dealing with. factory and like information systems that you can access to. Oh, and I forgot to mention there is salvaging tables for each floor, which I think is pretty cool. But yeah, as you work through this factory level, once again another map. You you run into weird factory goodness. You're gonna run into spigots, and you're gonna turn on one spigot, and it's gonna heal you. You're gonna turn on another spigot, and there's gonna be acid. You know what I mean? And then there's also like other weird stuff, like a machine that you put an item in, and it shrinks it down to really small, and then like if you apply 25 pounds of pressure to it or whatever, it pops back to full size again. So like just weird high-tech factory goodness on this level. And then you're also you're gonna find the dude that the NPCs from earlier on were looking for, their friend that got lost. You're gonna oh wait, yeah, I think he shows up here. Wait, no. I think I might have messed that one up. Is that the dude? Or is that a different guy? Okay, I'm not sure. That might be a different NPC. Sorry, I might have messed that one up. Anyway, you do come across this dude. He's a Circ, which is the construct. Quick note: this book does give the mechanics if a player character wants to play as a Circ. Anyway, so these constructs, these construct beings called Circs, they're the ones that have formed different groups and are kind of at odds with each other. You can meet the leader of one of these groups. Oh my goodness. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. I've butchered so many things in this video already. That's why I needed my notes, but I accidentally deleted them. Anyway, so you can meet the leader of one of these groups. Guess what? He'll probably give you a job, or you'll fight him, one of the two. Opening spigots, that can either go well or bad for you. Anyway, so you're just a whole lot of cool, weird factory goodness that you encounter there. And then as you go through these levels, you'll find those particular items that the artificer was looking for that you're going to need for the bottom level. And speaking of the bottom level, here we are, the bottom level. It's like super cold there, and so your player's going to have to deal with that. There is some rooms that they're going to go through, and then there's the vault. Now, as long as they got the important items that they needed, they can get through the cold area. And there's beings that are like frozen to the walls that break out of the ice, and you may have to deal with them. But there's a warden before you get to the vault, and you need the three items. The three important items that you got from the rest of the facility to deal with the warden. Once you dealt with the warden and you open the vault, guess what? You have just awoken and uncaged a Dread Destroyer, which is one horrible, horrible, horrible machine. Now, the artificer from earlier that wanted you to find all those things, she's trying to control it. She wants to use it to her own ends. If you're going down that story hook, maybe you're not using it. But the Dread Destroyer has consciousness of its own, and it is hell-bent on just rampage. It wants to destroy all highly populated areas. It wants to destroy whole populations. It is just a murderous beast of a machine. You can get on top of the machine. You can get into the machine. It does have like defense protocols within. It has rooms within. The defenses are gonna, try to deal with you, but you can like wire into the machine and take control of it for a short time. But you're gonna have to deal with this thing because if you don't, you're unleashing it upon it's gonna find it's gonna get its way. It's gonna get out of the grave of the machines, and it's gonna just go on a full all-out rampage, destroying everything and destroying everyone. And that's a good motivation for the players to stop them, because it's like, hey, you have loved ones on the surface. You better stop this thing, because if you don't, you're not going to have loved ones. So yeah, you can fight it. You can come up with an innovative way to stop it. They do have a way to stop it in here. And spoiler alert, I'm going to give away the ending. So if you don't want to hear the ending, stop the video now. Okay, you've been warned. This is the... I was digging the adventure. I was like, hey, this is weird but good. I'm digging it. And then I get to the ending, and I don't like how they've written in a way to defeat the machine. You wire in and you lie to this machine, because the machine was originally designed to fight a certain group, these certain beings, and you wire into the machine and you lie to the consciousness in the machine. It's a DC 13 intelligence check when using the machine. Which is set. Oh, sorry, I haven't got to the end. Yeah, that is the end. Yeah. 62. Oh, sorry, I'm on the wrong page. Stopping the machine. Yeah, sorry, I was on the wrong page. It's a DC 13 deception check to lie to this Dread Destroyer and tell it, hey, the beings you were originally made to destroy are on another planet. And this thing turns itself into a rocket ship. Well, it turns itself into like a spacefaring ship or whatever. You could say in another dimension or whatever. Anyway, it converts itself into a ship that can go there, and you have to get out of this machine, and then this thing launches itself wherever you lied to it that its enemy is. I really don't like that ending. I don't like that ending. But may I suggest to you a fix, okay? This is how I would fix the ending, okay? Back in the Peerless Wheel, okay? Back on the Peerless Wheel, there's an area that if you salvage from it, the wheel stops spinning. And if you keep salvaging from it, this wheel is the size of the city and it's free floating. If you keep salvaging in this specific area, the wheel drops and kills every living thing inside of it. Okay, so how I would fix it is I would have the PCs lure the Dread Destroyer underneath the wheel and have some way for them to drop the wheel onto the Dread Destroyer. That would be an epic ending. Like they just dropped a city-size elevator onto this machine. Goodbye. That and they have to not get, destroyed by it themselves. You know what I mean? By the Dread Destroyer or by this city-sized wheel falling. You know what I mean? Oh my goodness, that is an epic ending. Okay. Anyway, and then they give you some advice on wrapping up the adventure. You can there's more to explore if you want, or if the Dread Destroyer gets out and just does its thing, or you can maybe do more about the race that it's there this beings that the Dread Destroyer was meant to destroy. Whichever direction you want to take that. Next is a short bestiary. You get, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 new creatures. They look pretty cool. They come with their own art. They're all statted for 5e. I should have mentioned this whole adventure is written for 5e. Man, I should have mentioned that way back at the beginning. This whole adventure is written for 5e, but if you're playing Numenera or you're running Cypher System, don't worry, the conversion guide's in the back. But back to the bestiary. So, yeah, you got some cool creatures. This one's super weird, super weird. Like you bite it and then you pass out. I don't know. It's weird. Yeah. And then you have like this like traumatizing or this like troubling memory after you wake up after you bit this thing. I don't know. It's weird. Anyway, and then the Cirque. So the construct people, it gives you the stats for if you have to fight one, but then it also, if you want to make Cirque a playable species in your D&D 5e game, and so it gives you some guidance on that. Okay. Cirque traits. Now this was probably written and published under the 2014 rules, but I don't think it would be much of an issue to adapt it to 2024. You know what I mean? But yeah, you got some cool dudes that you can rumble with under the bestiary, and then you get to some new items. Okay. Some ciphers. Of course, you're gonna find the. Remember how I said you needed those special items to get into the vault at the end. So you're gonna need the siphoning rod, and so where you're gonna find the mechanics for those special items is right here. And then the Numenera conversion guide. Okay. So this is how you're going to convert the entire adventure over to Numenera / Cypher System. And it just goes area by area, changing it over to the Cypher System, giving you, the difficulty 5 task, and these sidebars, giving you page numbers in Numenera Discovery or Numenera Destiny. Yeah, so you have all these conversions for the adventure. Okay. So like I said, I have not run the adventure yet. Like I said, I skimmed it. And so this was kind of like a skim review / first impressions video, I guess. The features that I like. First off, Mighty Cook Games always puts out really excellent formatted material. I love the sidebars on the side. Always the art is top notch. Some of the art is reused from other books. I love the random tables. I love that each level feels different. Okay. I love this. I know this is going to sound strange, but I love this. This gives you a rough price on what ciphers and relics and Iron Flesh is worth by rarity. I don't I don't know 100%, but I don't think that this information was in Arcana of the Ancients. So in Arcana of the Ancients, there's tons of ciphers, tons of relics, tons of Iron Flesh, and you find these things and say it's not something your character wants to use and you want to sell it. Well, how do you value it? Right here you have at least how much this artificer would pay for it. So this kind of at least gives you a baseline, in my opinion. So these two tables, really awesome, especially if you have Arcana and the Ancients. I like that they include different hooks to get the players involved. I love that each level has a keyed map. I think that's cool. I think it's cool that you get the adventure. There's enough adventure there for at least 5 nights, probably more. That you get several new creatures. And I think it's awesome that you get some new items, but I really love that they included the Numenera Cypher conversion so that if you're playing 5e or if you're playing Cypher, you can still take this short campaign and run it, no matter which system you're using. So, you know, you don't have to buy 2 different books. You got it all in one. So those are the features that I really like. Things that I didn't like about the book. I've already been vocal. I don't like the ending. I don't like the ending, but if you're a good GM, you can fix that. You know what I mean? Yeah, you can fix the ending. Let's see, anything else that I wasn't too crazy about? Oh, the fact that you pretty much absolutely need Arcana of the Ancients. Okay, so you need like another book outside of, you know, the core rule books and everything. You need an additional supplement book to really run this how it's meant to be run. You know, I don't know. I'm not crazy about that. So yeah, I've given you some features that I like and some things about the book that I'm not too crazy about. Let's see, back here it says the MSRP is $29.99 for at least 5 sessions of play. You can decide if that's valuable or if that's the value to you, and if science fantasy is the type of game that you dig, this might be the product for you. Remember, it's 5th level, right about 5th level. If you're looking for more of a Tolkien-esque, you know, strict fantasy, dragons and knights and type and wood elves and all this type fantasy, if that's your type of fantasy, then this isn't the adventures for you. Okay, so just know, you know, who this book would appeal to and who it wouldn't. Okay. Anyway, if you have any questions about Where the Machines Wait, if you've run it, or you know, or if you've run science fantasy in your D&D 5e game, you know, leave a comment down below how to go, and if you liked it. If you have run Where the Machines Wait, how was the ending to you? How did your characters solve the big climactic ending? Let me know. All right. Hey, it's Dusty and Dice, and y'all know the catch line, man. Grab some friends and roll some dice, bruh.